What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex here, and you're watching a Ragin Ronin review. I got a review for you. I checked out Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins. This is the third film in the live-action G.I. Joe film franchise. This is a reboot. It's an origin story of everybody's favorite G.I. Joe character, Snake Eyes. This is not part of the previous two films, like it's not connected with them. I'm talking about G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra and G.I. Joe: Retaliation. Those two films they stand in their own timeline, and Snake Eyes is a reboot because the origin story for this Snake Eyes is not connected and is totally different from the origin story of Snake Eyes that is presented in G.I. Joe: Rise of Cobra. This film is directed by Robert Schwenk, who directed Red. And also it stars Henry Golding as Snake Eyes, Andrew Koji as Storm Shadow, Ursula Corbero as Baroness, Samara Weaving as Scarlet, Peter Mensah as Blind Master, and Iko Uwais as Hardmaster. And I was really looking forward to this film because, first of all, I enjoyed Rise of Cobra. I actually thought it was a really fun film, despite it being like very, very different from what I would have expected from a G.I. Joe movie, and it just quite different from the source material. It's just really, really updated. Retaliation was directed by John M. Chu, and I only liked one sequence in that, and that was the ninja scene. Besides that, I didn't really care for the rest of the movie. I didn't think the movie was very good. So I was looking forward to another iteration of one of my favorite 80s cartoons, G.I. Joe. But this time they decided to focus on Snake Eyes and his origins and how he became a ninja, how he worked, came to work with the Joes, how he befriended Storm Shadow, and how they eventually grew apart. Okay, I will start with the good stuff. I'll start with the good stuff. I will say that I appreciate the story. I like that, it's an origin story. I like Samara Weaving as Scarlet. I like all the times that she was on screen. She looked and felt like a true Scarlet character. Okay. I also like the Baroness, played by Ursula Corbero. I like that Scarlet and Baroness are actually the element in the film that reminds us that this is a G.I. Joe movie. Because it really doesn't feel like one. And that's totally fine, because I do know that I'm watching an origin story of Snake Eyes. But I like that they throw in these elements of G.I. Joe in it to, I wouldn't necessarily say it's fan service, because it's not. It's more like something that just reminds the viewers and the fans that this is part of a larger universe. And that's really, really cool. I just need those little tidbits thrown in there, here and there. So I like that, okay? I like Storm Shadow, played by Andrew Koji. As a matter of fact, I think he's the best. Like, he puts in a much better performance than Henry Golding. I think he steals the show. I like all the scenes that Andrew Koji is in. It's really quite cool. And I think that he was perfectly cast as Storm Shadow. I like that it takes place in Japan. I really enjoyed that aspect of it, and I'm glad it did, because it is a ninja movie, and it's shot in Tokyo. It's also shot right here in Vancouver for a very brief moment, but then most of it takes place in Japan, like a huge chunk of it. The bulk of the movie takes place in Japan, and it just gives you a really, really... Japan, Tokyo is such a unique place, unique shooting location, so it really gives you a very dynamic sense of geography. It's really quite interesting. So I like that about it. That's about it. That is really about it. I like I like a bit of the chemistry between Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. I liked it when they're on screen together. Like when they share moments of dialogue together. I like that. That's about it. I didn't really like this film. I'll be completely honest. I was quite let down. First things first. When I first saw the trailer for it, was not blown away at all. Like, it didn't do anything for me. It just made me feel like, okay, there's Snake Eyes movie coming. I'm looking forward to it. That's it. It just does its purpose of reminding you or telling you that there's a movie coming out that's a G.I. Joe movie, okay? Or a Snake Eyes movie. But it didn't get me excited. And I now know why. First of all, I wasn't a fan of the casting of Henry Golding. I like Henry Golding. I really do. I like him as an actor. I really enjoyed Crazy Rich Asians and the other movie that he was in. But him as Snake Eyes, I feel is totally wrong. Even when they announced the casting, I just felt this a little bit weird. And when I watched it, I was right, because it's just not the right direction for Snake Eyes. Like, I'm speaking from a G.I. Joe fan. We didn't need, like, I mean, he's a charming guy. Like, he looks charming. Even when he's not being charming, he still looks charming. He doesn't have the look. I want my Snake Eyes to be a little bit more colder looking. I actually like my Snake Eyes to not be cracking jokes. I like my Snake Eyes to speak less. Okay? I like, I would have liked a throwaway line where Storm Shadow says to Snake Eyes that, "You don't talk very much, do you?" That would have been cool. All right? But then we have Henry Golding, who he just talks a lot. He just talks a lot. He cracks jokes, and it's just not the right direction for Snake Eyes, and it made me feel less invested in his character. But I was more invested in Storm Shadow's character. There's an emotional element in his character, and I think Andrew Koji puts in a really good performance. I didn't like that. I felt the movie felt rushed, and then it feels like it's got some serious pacing issues. Sometimes it feels rushed in moments where we feel like it's getting interesting, and everything just gets it zips along. But then later on it feels like it gets melodramatic, as in like the tone of the movie just suddenly shifts to melodrama, and then they start talking about emotional scenes that are supposed to have more emotional weight. Like, it's trying to get the audience into that feeling, right? And I just feel like that tonal shift doesn't work for a film like this. It doesn't even work for the film, because the movie starts off it sets the tone that it's going to be I guess a darker and grittier take on G.I. Joe, and it's going to have a lot of action. And I don't expect the movie to have action nonstop. Like, that's just not what I want in this movie. But I just feel like it just totally takes it takes a different direction. Like, I'm watching two different films, and I feel it really suffers from some pacing issues. Yeah. I feel like also, speaking of pacing issues, I feel it's rushed in the sense as to the transition from Snake Eyes, because that's his only name, from Snake Eyes to G.I. Joe Snake Eyes. The transition is completely, it's abrupt. It's very sudden. It's a very, it's not a gradual transition. It's not something he really needs to think about. It's just suddenly, he's a Joe. And the presentation of his armor, his suit, is just it's not something that is hinted at. It's just suddenly, it's like, you're gonna need this, okay? and I'm feeling like wow, I felt nothing at all. Like, at this scene, I should feel goosebumps. I should feel chills. I should feel like, oh, you know how when in Marvel's Ant-Man movie, like they introduced the Wasp costume, and then suddenly you're like, what? Yes, I can't believe they're showing this. And then you get all excited, right? I didn't feel that at all. It's just because of the way they handle it. There's no build up to it, okay? Okay, the last thing I gotta talk about, before I talk about that, I'll tell you that for a ninja movie, there's not a whole lot of ninjas in this, or ninja action. There's ninja fightings. They're ninjas fighting with each other, okay? There's ninjas that are fighting. But there's no real ninja action. And by ninja action, I'm talking about stealth. I'm talking about using ninja weapons. I'm talking about using their ability to be invisible as a to apply that to their missions. You don't see that at all. You don't see them jumping on rooftops, and oh man, for a ninja movie, it's not a very good ninja movie, okay? And the ninjas are very, very incompetent. Okay, there is a ninja encampment. This is where the ninjas exist, okay? For a ninja encampment that I guess is in some ways a secret or not, I don't know. I guess it's not very secretive, because the security for the encampment, their headquarters, is very pathetic. Anybody can break into their facility. Anybody. You don't have to be a ninja to do it. Okay? It's just, very incompetent security system, very incompetent ninjas. They just are not good as ninjas. This is one of the worst portrayal of ninjas that I've ever seen, okay? Finally, which brings me to the action. We have typical Hollywood style action direction. Okay, this film has its fights and action choreographed by Kenji Tanigaki. Okay, if you don't know who he is, that's okay. He's a stunt coordinator and stuntman with 25 years worth of experience. He's worked in Hong Kong, where the most like action-packed films are and the most brutal stunts take place, and he's under the tutelage of Donnie Yen. He's Donnie Yen's protege, okay? And what I saw here was action, and all his work and all the training of all the stunt people and all the training of the actors totally brutalized, totally butchered. I'm talking about up close filming of action sequence. I'm talking about there's non-existence of wide takes. There's like no wide takes, okay? There's not the long takes are not existent. Shaky camera work, a lot of handheld camera work. It's only like they only know how to do handheld camera work, and lots of choppy editing. They chop up the action, and I don't know why they do that. They have so many different camera angles, and I don't know why they do that. They have actors who are fully trained to do 10-hit combos, but they just they chop it up in a way where you only see 2 hits in a single take, and then another 2 hits and another 2 hits, and from like so many different angles. And then like you have actors from the raid like Iko Uwais, who's about to take on like these bad guys, and he does a few actions and then cut, go to something else, go back to Iko Uwais, and all the bad guys are already down. And I'm like, what are they doing? Why did they butcher all the action? It just felt so annoyed. Like, when will they ever learn? Like, when will they learn that you don't have to do this to, like, they do this to hide the actors and the stunt performers. Okay, that's the reason why they do that. They bring in the actor and then cut. Okay, actor get out of there. Stuntmen go in there. Let's film him in like really hidden angles and chop it up so you never know he's really there. So you don't know that it's not the main actor performing. You don't have to do this with this movie. It really annoyed the heck out of me. And it just it's just really unfortunate that it filmed it this way, because there was not a single action sequence that was memorable. I will not be able to tell you which action sequence I like the most, because they all look the same to me. Even a spectacular action sequence involving a car chase, like with swords, like with katanas, that didn't even feel exciting at all. Because it just felt like everybody's on the same level as each other, because they chopped up all the action. You never actually show that these actors are well trained. Everybody's on the same level. The only time it looks cool is when Andrew Koji does these really cool poses. He does these cool pre-fight poses, and then he does these real post-fight poses after he's taken them all out. And that's it. Anyways, I'm going to be totally generous. I'm going to be generous with them and give it a 5 out of 10. Okay, I at least thought the story was decent and a few other things. But besides that, they butchered the work of these talented martial arts actors and stunt people. 5 out of 10, not the G.I. Joe that I was looking for, and that's all I'm going to say. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.